Thank you for joining me here this afternoon. The time is currently 1:10 p.m. Central, and you have a live look at a brand new severe thunderstorm watch just issued now for portions of Wyoming, Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, and I believe a little sliver of Arizona. Only part of it has come in here on the Radar Omega app, but again, we do have a brand new severe thunderstorm watch for this area. It's been a while since we've covered severe weather out in the Four Corner states. In fact, I don't know if we've ever had to do it live as frequently as we're going to have to today. There's the rest of the watch. So this does not include parts of Arizona, but again, it does include parts of northwest New Mexico, western Colorado, eastern Utah, and southwestern Wyoming. If we go ahead and take a look at it here, I'll go ahead and bring it up on your screen. We can see that this is actually going to be a pretty decently interesting watch description here, alright? So the threat with tornadoes with this watch is low. The threat for strong tornadoes with this watch is very low. The threat for damaging winds with this watch is moderate. The threat for destructive winds with this watch is low. The threat for large hail with this watch is moderate. And the threat for very large hail with this watch is moderate. If we take a look at this again, we can see severe thunderstorm watch in effect until 7 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time for parts of western Colorado, northwestern New Mexico, central and eastern Utah, and southwest Wyoming. The main threats include scattered large hail and isolated very large hail events to Lime size possible, and scattered damaging wind gusts to 70 miles per hour possible. Now, I would not rule out an isolated tornado or two, but they don't currently mention tornadoes in this watch, alright? Now, if you were here for yesterday's severe weather event, you will know that we had a massive severe weather outbreak rip through parts of this region here in the plains. Specifically, Scottsbluff, Nebraska got hit particularly hard. We still have about 755 customers in Scottsbluff County without power after yesterday's severe storms rolled through. So obviously this area, we've got some areas that are probably pretty frightened right now of severe weather. So our job here today is to make sure that their minds can be set at ease and know what's happening and where it's happening at all times. So right now we do have some severe thunderstorm warnings here. We got one specifically up here in the portions of central Montana for the threat of quarter-sized hail to the south of Stanford. This does not include any towns, though, except for Schultztown, alright? So Schultztown here just looks to be a little itty-bitty group of houses, actually, up here in the mountains anyway, but that's not the only severe thunderstorm warning that we have, alright? We've got one out here into portions of New York, off to the southeast of Rochester for the Canandaigua area, Gorham, that whole region there, however you pronounce that, for some 60-mile-per-hour winds and penny-sized hail. And then actually the most intense severe thunderstorm warning that we have right now is for Williamsfield, Ohio, for the threat of quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. But it's looking like they are going to downgrade that to a special weather statement for 50-mile-per-hour winds and penny-sized hail as this storm approaches areas to the east of Warren. So that is what we're dealing with right now. If anybody has any questions about their location, feel free to leave those down below, because this is a very widespread event that we're talking about today. We've got ourselves a risk of severe weather going all the way from Rhode Island back into Montana, back down into Arizona, okay? So very rare day where we've got ourselves, hundreds of millions of Americans, I would say, facing the threat of some potential severe weather. Maybe not hundreds of millions, but tens of millions, right? So we've got to make sure that, again, everybody knows the forecast for their areas today, all right? Now, we do have a slight risk of severe weather today, alright? Some of the bigger cities included in this include Madison, Wisconsin, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Fort Collins, Colorado, Billings, Montana, Rochester, Minnesota. And you may notice those cities are all over the place because, again, even just the slight risk goes all the way from Wisconsin back into Arizona, back into Montana. So we've got ourselves a very large area that is facing the threat for severe weather today. Some of the bigger cities included in that marginal risk of severe weather include Detroit, Michigan, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Boston, Massachusetts, Denver, Colorado, and Tucson, Arizona, rather. So again, very widespread area facing the threat for severe thunderstorms today. And again, we are here live now with this brand new severe thunderstorm watch just issued for portions of the Four Corner states as well as one county there in Wyoming. Okay, now we do have some stronger storms already forming inside of this watch polygon. One of the stronger ones being here off to the east of Superior, Wyoming. This is special weather statement warning for the threats of penny-sized hail and 40-mile-per-hour damaging wind gusts, and this storm may intensify, so be certain to monitor local radio stations and available television stations for additional information and possible warnings from the National Weather Service. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up stream chat, so again, if anybody has any questions about the location, feel free to leave those down below. But yeah, I think we're going to be here for an interesting day of severe thunderstorms and potentially tornadoes. All right. The tornado threat for today is actually one of the things driving our slight risk of severe weather today. If we take a look at the general tornado risk, we can see we've got two separate areas with a 5% risk here. All right. One of them being centered around the Sioux Falls area and the other being back up here near Billings, Montana. Some of the bigger cities included in that 5% risk again include Sioux Falls, Billings, Great Falls, Montana, Yankton, South Dakota, and Worthington, Minnesota. And then we've also got ourselves a couple of 2% risks. One of the 2% risks goes all the way from Wisconsin back up into Montana, the other being centered across parts of the Four Corner states. So again, we've got ourselves the threat for tornadoes up for tens of millions of Americans today, all right? Maybe not tens of millions, but millions. So it's something to watch out for, but actually the biggest threat for today is going to be the hail threat, all right? We've got ourselves a significant hail threat for parts of Montana and Wyoming. Yesterday, we saw some grapefruit-sized hail across parts of Colorado. I don't think we're going to see anything like that today, but maybe some isolated lime to tennis ball-sized hail is possible here in this yellow and black shaded region, okay? So if you're in that area, make sure to look out for that. The damaging wind threat for today is there, but it's just pretty standard, 15% risk over this large area. So that is what we're looking out for today. I know that was a lot of information there. I will not be able to be live here, unfortunately, for the main event today, as I will be. I won't be home, so I won't be able to go live for part of the event that we're going to see today. But I will be live here throughout the afternoon hours, covering these severe thunderstorms and again possible tornadoes across portions of the plains. We did just get a new special weather statement here for a storm in Colorado. This storm has now been it's gotten a special weather statement reissued here for some 50-mile-per-hour winds and half-inch hail near Bonanza. So look out for that. But yeah, that's what we're dealing with right now in Colorado, off to the west of Pueblo there. It's really not a reissuance, it's just another part of the storm that got warned. But yeah. Now, I would also like to note that the Storm Prediction Center is also saying that a watch will be issued between now and let's see here, 4 p.m. Eastern, or sorry, 4 p.m. Central, for portions of central Montana. Whether it's a severe thunderstorm watch or a tornado watch, we don't know yet. Probably a severe thunderstorm watch. But either way, expect a watch up here in Montana to come out within the coming hours. Again, that's going to be 3 p.m. Out here in Mountain Time for Montana. And our storm here in Montana did just get upgraded to half-dollar-sized hail. So again, if you're in central Judith Basin County, make sure that you are getting indoors and away from windows immediately. This is for areas like Sapphire Village and Schultztown. Now, again, this is it for central Judith Basin County, but does not include Stanford. I know Stanford's kind of the big town out here in Judith Basin County, but it does not include Stanford. It includes areas to the south of Stanford, though. South of Highway 87 here in the mountains of Montana. Looks like we got ourselves a few stronger storms here south of Detroit. We still have some customers without power here west of Detroit, northwest of Detroit. In Oakland County, we have about 16,000 customers currently without power after severe storms rolled through yesterday. So, we've even still got like coastal flood warnings and even just flood warnings in general up for parts of Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi after Tropical Storm Alberto rolled through. And we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning in effect now for Dutchess and Ulster counties, New York. This is for our storm here near Esopus. This storm did previously produce some wind damage here, down some trees. Actually, it looks like it has about 3 reports here of downing trees, and now that's in the Hyde Park, Poughkeepsie area. So if you're in this area, make sure that you are getting indoors immediately. Again, quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour damaging wind gusts may be associated with that storm. Let's go back up here to our Montana storm, where if we take a look at the vertically integrated liquid signatures, we can see that we've got some spots maxing out here, which is never a good sign. We've definitely got ourselves some very large hail near Gibson Peak. Again, now it'll be closer to Woodhurst Mountain. But yeah. That's the main storm that we're watching right now. We'll go ahead and quad box it here for a little bit at least. Alrighty. So again, if you're just not sitting in, we are tracking a severe storm rolling through portions of central Montana, capable of producing half-dollar-sized hail. The newest vertically integrated liquid scan here showing an even more impressive hail signature there. Again, across portions of central Judith Basin County. So again, if you're in this area, make sure that you're getting indoors and away from windows immediately, as this is actually a pretty interesting looking storm here. Again, capable of producing very large hail and some gusty winds there south of Stanford at the moment, southwest of Stanford. And again, the damaging wind potential is there. With this storm, I would not even be surprised if it were to start rotating just a little bit. There's a little bit of contamination in there that we can visibly see, but definitely at least some higher winds in there as well. But again, the main thing that we're watching right now is the hail. In the bottom right-hand corner of your screen is our little hail tracker tool here. More commonly referred to as the vertically integrated liquid signature. So again, those grays and purples and pinks in there, the reds, oranges, those are all of our colors there that can indicate some large hail falling out of the atmosphere. What happens is this tool notices that this is not rain falling out of the sky, and it reflects back onto the radar here with this signature looking like this, where we've got all these different colors in here mixing in. Is there a possibility for a strong tornado today? No. Nope. Strong tornadoes are out of the question. I know we saw a strong tornado yesterday. That was a very surprising, unexpected occurrence. It was out in an open field, luckily, and it was pretty brief. But if you are not aware, we did have a brief wedge tornado yesterday in Nebraska. Which, again, a brief wedge tornado, those words don't usually go together. If you don't know, wedge tornadoes are the largest kinds of tornadoes. And the warning, it did go past radar indicated, but not for that tornado. While there was a wedge on the ground, it was only at radar indicated, so. Alrighty. Saw it on Connor's stream, yeah. I know he had it. Also think Freddie McKinney had it. So live look here from northwest Iowa as this rain continues to fall here on an area that has already experienced some pretty dangerous flooding. This area is already under a flood warning, in fact, from the National Weather Service. Alright, so let's go back up here to our Montana storm. This has now been upgraded to ping-pong ball-sized hail, by the way. So again, if you're in this area, you need to be getting indoors and away from windows immediately. We did just get a new severe thunderstorm warning for Seneca, Yates, Tompkins, and Cayuga counties, New York. This is for a storm northwest of Ithaca for the Covert area. Covert, 60-mile-per-hour winds and nickel-sized hail. And we also just got another new severe thunderstorm warning for Schenectady, Albany, Saratoga, Rensselaer, and Montgomery counties, New York here. To the northwest of Albany, this is another severe thunderstorm capable of producing 60-mile-per-hour winds and penny-sized hail. Yeah, I know his radar indicated because it was rain wrap, but I'm just saying, I'm not trying to fault the National Weather Service. I'm just saying, it was a situation where, probably only Connor Croft in the entire world was probably the only one, or Freddie McKinney and him were probably the only ones in the entire world to be on that storm that was producing a tornado. And it was hard to tell anyway if it was producing one or not. So if the National Weather Service didn't see their live feed, then there was no way for them to know that that was on the ground because there wasn't a debris signature because it was in a really rural area. It was on a slight risk day, so I feel like they were probably not expecting anything like that to happen. So just all those factors led to a large wedge tornado without even an observed tag. Again, if the National Weather Service saw that, it could have changed the entire course of the day. That could have went tornado emergency. But because they didn't see that feed, or didn't get any reports from their spotters, there was a wedge tornado left with only a radar-indicated tornado warning. So again, that storm there, again, it could have taken so many different paths. If they'd seen it, it probably would have gone PDS or maybe even tornado emergency, but they didn't. So it was left not even at observed, only radar indicated. Now that cell did go on to produce another smaller, weaker tornado, and that one went observed because there were quite a few people actually reporting that. Fire departments, spotters, storm chasers, but yeah. By the way, guys, I know we've got ourselves a severe weather risk for tomorrow. I'm not going to be able to go live tomorrow, unfortunately. So, fortunately, I'm going to be missing out on what looks to be a pretty interesting day here for parts of Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, Illinois. Looks like there's going to be a pretty significant day out there that, unfortunately, I'm going to probably not be able to go live for there. And then Sunday, I'll be able to go live, possibly, like, late Sunday, but Sunday doesn't look to be too significant anyway. Right now, we only have a marginal risk. I will say it's a pretty large one, though. Marginal risk going all the way from Maine back into Missouri. So we'll watch things. We'll see. I do actually think that, I'm not sure about Monday, but I know about Tuesday, I'm actually expecting a pretty significant severe weather outbreak on Tuesday. I've had a lot of people asking me, we've been going through this crazy weather, but there hasn't been any big outbreaks over the past couple of weeks, so when's that next one going to be? I'm not going to go as far to say that Tuesday is going to be a big severe weather outbreak, but I'm going to say there's a possibility of it up here in the portions of the Midwest. Parts of Wisconsin, Michigan, Illinois, and Indiana need to be looking out on Tuesday, maybe even Iowa. For a potential of strong to severe storms capable of producing tornadoes, damaging wind gusts especially, and also some large hail. But it's looking like we could have ourselves a mesoscale convective system. Just got put under a heat advisory, heat index up to 107. Wow. Yeah, the entirety of the eastern United States right now, guys, is above average temperature-wise, in case you're not aware. Pretty much everybody in this blue circle has heat index values up to 100 for most days. Even into, like, Michigan and Maine, they've been getting heat index values up to, or in some spots, even over 100 degrees. So. But if we look at the temperatures, up here into Montana, we can see, it's in the 60s, all right? It's beautiful out where our severe weather threat is. But, again, you go over here to the eastern United States, and we'll just go out here to Long Island. We can see New York City right now. Looks like they are sitting at about 93 degrees, so brutal. It's about 98 degrees off to the west of New York City, so it's a yikes. It's 88, feels like 96. Yeah, it's pretty awful. Just kind of to scroll around some of the bigger cities in the United States. We'll actually go ahead and turn on the, I guess we can't turn on the feels like, can we? But the temperature in Columbus is 96, Fort Wayne 97. This is a glitch. It is not 122 degrees in Indiana. That would be record setting. But still, I mean, it's hot. It is. Chicago right now is sitting at about 91. And all these don't sound too brutal, but whenever you factor in that the heat index is about 10 degrees higher than the highs in these areas, I mean, it is super hot. So, if you see a 90-degree temperature, that likely means the heat index is sitting at around 100. If you see a 95-degree temperature, that means the heat index is probably sitting at about 105. It did say 122. That's a glitch, though. I promise you it is not 122 degrees in Indiana. That has never happened, and that probably never will happen. Especially not that far north of Indiana. Okay. Okay, so again, our storm here is continuing to produce damaging winds and some large to very large hail near Stanford. So again, we'll keep watching that. Right now, warned for ping pong ball-sized hail. Again, we may have some form of damaging wind action with this storm here near Woodhurst Mountain. Again, this is in central Montana. It's an impressive little cell, yeah. I mean, it's definitely trying to get its act together here. It may even try and start rotating. Like I said, it's got a decent supercell shape here. You can see the rear flank downdrafts, as well as our hook echo kind of starting to wrap around there, a little bit of inflow. So we'll watch that. Again, it's not really rotating quite yet, but it may get its act together somewhere in that area there. That's where we'd be watching that part of the storm anyway. It'll move, obviously, but I will also say that there's some contamination in here. Still, though, I think this could start rotating. Yeah, it's got that look for sure. Like this could try and produce a tornado. So again, we'll watch this as it heads towards Utica. Again, right now it's not really rotating at all, but I do think down the line this is going to start rotating quite a bit. And again, just a really impressive looking supercell there. It looks healthy, it's all discrete. Again, if we do have some form of rotation, it would be located in there. So that there's a possibility that this supercell is rotating a little bit. Yeah, I mean, it's not the hottest part of the day, but it's warm enough out here. If we look at the detailed display, we can see out here we've got temps at 65, dew point at 55, so it's a little on the chillier side for severe weather, but that's still definitely enough to get severe thunderstorms to fire off and have the potential to produce tornadoes. So, again, there's your potential rotation there. But it could just be because of the way that the radar is angled. So we'll have to wait and see here. Yeah, this is definitely a pretty healthy supercell, though, near Woodhurst Mountain. And I would go as far to say that this is I don't know about a textbook supercell, but I mean it's getting there. Now, a textbook supercell doesn't necessarily mean it's going to produce a big tornado, but it just means that it looks like it could on the radar. We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning all the way up into South Dakota for the Of course, Sika area, quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. Look out for that one. So we got a new radar scan here coming in. A little less impressive on that newest reflectivity scan. Not quite as not quite as much as a hook echo there. I don't know. So, again, there's our rear flank downdraft. And here's where our tornado would be. But, again, it's not currently rotating. So... So again, we're going to watch this storm here to the south of Stanford as it continues to look pretty impressive here on the radar. And again, the National Weather Service has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for central Judith Basin County for ping pong ball-sized hail. Yes. Yes, I believe so, Bethany. I think that's what's happening here. So again, here's our supercell that we're watching right now. Eventually this will be moving towards areas like Utica, Pine Knob, Diamond Dot, Buffalo, Garneal. It's going to be crossing over Highway 191 over the next hour or so. It's moving actually pretty slowly, though. It's moving off to the east at 20 miles per hour. Again, it's kind of lost some of its structure. It's not quite as impressive anymore. So I think at this point, the tornado threat with it dies a lot. Again, it was never really super high, but it looked like for a little bit it could try to do something. But now at this point, I think it's just going to be an ordinary severe thunderstorm. But it definitely tried to do something for a little bit. And it was a little concerning how discreet this is and the environment that it's in. Just in general. Again, like, we got ourselves the cape, we've got ourselves the wind shear, we've got everything that we need for these storms up here to start planting tornadoes today up into Montana. And again, this was probably the most concerning radar scan here. This, I mean, if you just showed this to somebody and said, hey, look at this, they'd probably think this is a tornadic supercell here. So, I mean, that is a very impressive reflectivity presentation. Yeah, the Wyoming cell wouldn't die yesterday, but that was kind of a different situation as well. But, yeah. So yeah, if you're just not sitting in, I know we have a lot of viewers just not sitting in. We were watching the severe thunderstorm here roll through portions of Montana. This thing is going to be capable of producing very large hail up to ping pong ball size. And again, we're waiting for a severe thunderstorm or tornado watch to get issued for this area as well. We do have a new mesoscale discussion for portions of the Midwest, for southeast South Dakota, northeast Nebraska, northern Iowa, southwest Wisconsin, and southern Minnesota. Isolated severe threat should develop with the possibility of watch issuance. 40% chance of a severe thunderstorm watch being issued for that area between now and 3:30 p.m. Central. So again, really the only storm we're watching though in that area right now is this one here. Holy crap, that is a huge hail core though in South Dakota. Look at that. Got ourselves a hail spike. I know we're kind of far away from the radar site, but still. That is a dangerous looking hail core there. Measuring DBZ values up to 71. We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning now, probably for a Montana storm. Yep, it's an extension here. Now it's warned for golf ball-sized hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds, and it even has the tornado possible tag. So again, it's not just me. The National Weather Service thinks that this severe thunderstorm is going to have the capability to try and produce a tornado here as it continues to head southeastward. And again, the hail threat's also been upgraded. The wind threat's been upgraded. This is just a really nasty supercell here. And again, this thunderstorm is capable of producing all types of severe weather, including extremely large hail, destructive straight-line winds, and tornadoes. Move quickly to a safe shelter, such as an interior room, a bathroom, closet, or basement. That is official wording from the National Weather Service. So again, if you're in this area, you need to get indoors and away from windows ASAP, as this is actually a pretty dangerous supercell here that, again, is going to have the capability to produce a tornado as it moves eastward. If it manages to take proper advantage of this favorable environment. And again, I mean, this is just a really impressive supercell. Got a little bit of inflow, creating this hook echo effect here. We had a little rear flank downdraft. We kind of still have maybe something indicating that up there. But yeah. These hail cores ate their Wheaties. I know what Wheaties are, but Wheaties, I kind of forgot they existed. Obviously they were a big thing, before my time, but yeah, I mean, this is definitely an impressive supercell, to say the least. I don't know when the last time was that I saw a Montana supercell look this healthy. Not super recently, I'll say that much. And again, our storm could try and rotate here in this area. If we do have a tornado, it'd be in here. But again, we don't have a tornado quite yet. But the storm's going to try and produce one as it heads eastward, most likely. So we'll keep watching that there. And they went ahead and issued that severe thunderstorm watch now. So we did now have a brand new severe thunderstorm watch for parts of central Montana, north central Montana. I think the Storm Prediction Center saw that supercell, and probably that's why they decided to go ahead and issue this watch. This has a very similar description to our watch a little further to the south. Scattered large hail likely with isolated very large hail events. Thunderstorm watch now. So we did not have a brand. I always do that. Scattered large hail likely with isolated very large hail events to large apple size possible. Scattered damaging winds to 70 miles per hour possible, and a tornado or two possible. And again, I think if we get a tornado out of Montana today, it would probably come from this supercell. On the newest reflectivity scan, again, this is a pretty dangerous storm here, actually. I've heard of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but only through like other shows referencing it. So sorry, I know the audio is kind of weird. My microphone there. The audio should sound a little bit better now. I hate how well this microphone picks up on my breathing. It's really annoying whenever you can hear me going. But it's not too terrible. And our storm actually out there in South Dakota did get upgraded to ping pong ball size hail. So again, if you're in that area, you need to get indoors and away from windows immediately. But again, our Montana supercell needs to be our main focus right now. This is a very dangerous storm. Sorry, I was getting a call there. So again, there's your, if we have a tornado, it'd be located right in there. But again, this storm is not producing a tornado yet. At least not one that we know of. But again, you need to remain alert and get indoors and away from windows if you're in Utica. This is heading your way. My audio is considerably better. That's good. Yeah, my microphone, yeah. Yeah, so again, the most impressive scan of this storm would have been, not this far back, but where was it? Where was the one where it was like really starting to wrap around? Was it this? Yeah, this was definitely the most impressive reflectivity scan to me. Oh, what did I just open? Okay, nothing. I thought I opened iMovie for a second. It's like, dang it. Does anybody have that one person in their life that whenever they call you the first time and you hang up, they just call you again? Yeah, that's what's happening right now. So. Yeah, well, I mean, all the purples indicate on a supercell is just the intensity of the hail falling. So the fact that we're not seeing too many crazy purple colors on there anymore may indicate that the hail threat with this storm is a little less, but still definitely a pretty healthy supercell. I will say, though, a lot of the inflow presentation that we had here is gone. As you can see, the storm doesn't really have a defined hook echo anymore. Because of that, it's really just got this open band here. So I don't know. This storm's looking a little less impressive to me, but again, we'll continue to monitor it here. I mean, if we played on a radar loop, it's had a really impressive life cycle here over the past several scans. So we have to keep watching this as it heads eastward. And again, this is going to be heading in the general vicinity of Utica. So Utica's not a massive town here, but it's definitely got some homes. I'd probably say maybe 50 people live out here, maybe closer to 75. Yeah, luckily Montana's sparsely populated again, and especially this region of Montana, like central Montana, almost nobody lives out here. Still not as rural, though, as what we were talking about yesterday in Nebraska. I mean, that area had literally nobody living there. Actually, the area that Vince Welty's in right now is where it was at, I think. I don't remember, though. I feel like it was a little further west. He may be heading out here, actually, to see if there's any noticeable damage from the wedge yesterday, because he was not on that. He was back closer to the derecho, or not the derecho, sorry, the 100-mile-an-hour wind event. Okay, so again, we're watching this try to curl back up here. Again, this is the supercell that could. friend used to work at a resort in Montana. She lived in the only building on like 75 miles. Yeah, I mean, if it was in the mountains, there's a good chance, obviously. So again, if we do get a tornado out of this storm, it'd be right in here. In that portion of the storm. Now, obviously, it's moving eastward, so it's not just going to sit there. The tornado's not going to be there if it drops at this point, but that's the part of the storm that we're watching, is what I'm trying to say. It's less contaminated out here, so that's a good sign. We'll be able to see this supercell a little bit better. And now we have a new severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Coconino County, Arizona. A small section of north central portion of the county there. This is like the biggest county in the entire country, I think. Coconino County, however you pronounce this. The county that holds Flagstaff. Arizona counties, just counties in the western United States in general are huge. So again, a very small section of the north central portion of this county here. Because this storm actually does have a pretty good hail core here. It's warned for quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. So again, the National Weather Service and Flagstaff has issued a severe thunderstorm warning. We have another new severe thunderstorm warning as well, in effect, for portions of Utah. The greater southern portion of Salt Lake City here, and Lehigh, Saratoga Springs, Riverton, Buffdale, all you guys right there. Quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. So the storm even has like a hail spike associated with it here in the Eagle Mountain area. So again, here's the supercell that we're watching right now. A little less organized, I'll say. Let's just get a quick update on some of our New York storms. Sorry, I'm messaging Roman real quick. Anyway, our New York storms here again. Some of these are strong to severe right now, but none of them are really piquing my interest in terms of a tornado threat. Really, at this point, they're all going to be just some damaging winds, and maybe an isolated large hailstone or two. But yeah, we do have a flood advisory now here for our storm in Montana. So apparently this dumped enough rainfall in the Blacktail Hills, Skull Buttes, Steamboat Butte area, Gibson Peak, Tuckin Mountain. We now have a flood advisory. We may see some minor flooding in low-lying and poor drainage areas. Between 1 and 2 inches of rain have fallen. Additional rainfall amounts of half an inch to an inch are expected over the area. The good news is that this was one isolated supercell. It's not like there's a ton of storms causing heavy rainfall around it. Okay. We may see a severe thunderstorm watch to come out that connects these two for parts of Montana and Wyoming here. But I don't know, the severe threat isn't quite as great in between those areas. The reason we have a slight risk out here is because it's really just kind of in between all of our severe weather threats. So any three of them might try and dip into this little pool here in the Casper, Wyoming area. We do have a new mesoscale discussion for parts of New England. Okay, this is for parts of southeast New York, southern Vermont, southern New Hampshire, west Massachusetts, northern Connecticut, and northern Rhode Island. A locally higher damaging gust threat may develop over the next few hours. A weather watch issuance is possible. So a watch may be issued between now and 4:15 p.m. Eastern, 3:15 p.m. Central. Yeah, it could definitely be way worse in terms of the heavy rainfall threat out here. But if we take a look at the storm total precipitation, we can see that this area has actually gotten quite a dumping here of rain. It looks like we got some spots with over 3 inches of rain in localized areas. So it's definitely going to lead to some flash flooding there, potentially. But yeah, again, our main focus here is just our continuing Montana supercell as it heads eastward. East-southeastward. Again, I do think that we're going to have ourselves a severe weather threat across parts of the Midwest tomorrow, like Missouri, Iowa, Minnesota, Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan, that area, the greater portion of the Midwest, but I will not be able to go live tomorrow, unfortunately. And again, I will be able to go live on Sunday, but there's not going to be anything crazy on Sunday. It's not looking like, anyway, so... While we're here in a standstill waiting for the next radar scan on our Montana storm, let's just kind of take a look at what the NAM's predicting. So this is what it's predicting here for 3 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Mountain. Look at all these supercells that are expected to fire off here across parts of the 4 quarter states in Wyoming. Very intense. And maybe even up into Montana. It was kind of predicting this supercell to come about an hour later than it actually did, but... around 4 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Mountain, that's going to continue. And then we're also going to see our severe threat in the Midwest really start to kick off here for parts of west central Wisconsin, east central Iowa. May see an isolated severe storm or 2 or 3 out there. We may also have a potential for some damaging winds in Nebraska, maybe some large hail as well. Then by 5 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Mountain, that same kind of activity just continues. Those storms are going to continue to go into the evening time hours, but the rest of the run of the HRRR is not out yet. We did just get a new severe thunderstorm warning here in south central Utah. This is actually pretty significant. Ping pong ball sized hail, 60 mile per hour winds, tornado possible tag for Big Water, Utah. So if you're in Big Water, make sure that you're getting indoors. This storm is coming in hot. Get indoors and away from windows immediately. That hail core is going to go right into Big Water, and again, that's significant. We're talking ping pong bowl, maybe even lime-sized hail here with this storm. Big-time hail spike, looks like. 74 dBZs. 75 dBZs. This could be up to like tennis ball-sized hail, guys. I didn't realize how much this storm was really popping off here. Yeah, it has the tornado possible tag, but a lot of that looks like a rotation is really just contaminated. But there is definitely some rotation in here. It would be in this area, though. Or, actually, it would be back here But that's not rotation, I don't think. I think that's just contamination there. Again, though, honestly, I'd still say our more concerning storm is the Montana one. The hail threat with it's not quite as high. Actually, no, this is really kind of disorganized now, isn't it? Okay. We have to shift our focus down south. Although, I think we may just end off the stream soon, because we've been live for almost an hour now. And we don't really have anything to talk about. We don't have any, destructive severe warnings. We don't have any tornado warnings. Holy crap. Okay, we need to cover this, though. This is insane. This is, like, the biggest hailstorm we've seen, other than the one yesterday, in quite a while. Jeez Louise, dude. Again, we're talking tennis ball to softball sized hail with this. So if you're in this area, you need to get indoors and away from windows immediately. Alrighty. Yeah, that definitely is wild. Look at that. That is so... Jeez Louise, dude. I mean, again, we are talking potentially up to large apple to softball-sized hail associated with this storm. It would not surprise me if we got a report like that out of this area. Actually, it would surprise me because we're up in the high mountaintops, but... What's your takes on the storms for Long Island? I think they're going to be sub-severe for the most part, but maybe an isolated storm gets strong. Let's see what the HRRR says, though. Yeah, kind of the same thing that I was saying. I mean, not really severe, but maybe an isolated strong storm. Hold on, somebody's messaging me. Okay. What are you looking at here? Just a big time hailstorm, really. The newest scan's a little less impressive, but still, I mean, we're talking very large hail, guys. And our hail spike is pretty impressive there. And there's a lot of contamination, so it's hard to tell what's even a hail spike because of that, but it's definitely some form of a hail spike with that storm there. Our storm here in Montana is still going. I mean, that hook echo's really ramped back up, hasn't it now? And we've definitely got some rotation in there at this point. There's no maybe it's rotating or not. That's definitely rotating quite a significant amount, actually. So we're going to watch this, because this is going to try and produce a tornado if it's wrapping around that much. So again, this still is probably our most concerning storm in terms of a tornado threat in the entire country. So again, this is near Utica right now. This is coming in. If you're in Utica, you need to get indoors and away from windows right now. And it is coming in hot. It's awfully contaminated, but still something there, obviously. Will any of the storms in Illinois this weekend have severe potential? Yes. I think especially going into tomorrow, especially like northwest Illinois here is going to have the threat for severe thunderstorms. There's a slight risk tomorrow for that area. And again, I think Tuesday you could be looking at a severe weather threat as well. Our storm in Arizona did get upgraded to lime-sized hail. So that's something to look out for. Going camping? I'm going camping too this weekend. So again, here's the cell that we're watching out for right now. I don't know why I did this. Sometimes my drawings get really sloppy whenever I'm trying to highlight something. So again, it's two different National Weather Service offices here. So Salt Lake City has not upgraded this yet, but Flagstaff has upgraded this to lime-sized hail here. And again, that hail spike is ridiculous. It's indicative of extremely large hail. Again, I'm surprised they only went with lime-sized hail. I'd say tennis ball size at the minimum would be appropriate for that. But National Weather Service's call is obviously something you want to trust over mine. So, just trying to give my thoughts on what may happen. What's up, everybody? I know we got a lot of viewers just not tuning in. So again, if we do get a tornado, it'll be in this area here. This is more than likely contamination out here. But this would be our axillary rotation. I know it's a little confusing. I hate whenever we have a situation like this. So not one severe warning left out here in New York before the storm north of Albany. It's rolling through Albany too, but the worst of it again is on the north side of Albany, north of Troy, Latham, the greater North Albany area. You have Salt Lake City under a special weather statement. This is actually a pretty big hailstorm. This might get upgraded to a severe thunderstorm warning. So it says here, boaters are urged to seek safe shelter if possible as well over Salt Lake. Okay. Holy cow, dude. 76 dBZs. Again, based on an estimation chart that I have, 76 dBZs would be measurable hail between a tennis ball and large apple size. And again, look at that hail spike. Incredibly dangerous. What's Florida looking like? Fine for the most part. I'm not really expecting anything except for maybe some stray showers and isolated thunder showers. And these showers and thunder showers are actually associated with an invest out here that we have, Invest 92L. This is an area of tropical moisture here that the National Hurricane Center is saying, hey, maybe this has a 60% chance to develop into a tropical cyclone with tropical depression strength or greater over the next 48 hours. So this is the National Weather Service's wording. Only a small increase in the organization of the showers and thunderstorms could result in the formation of a short-lived tropical depression before it reaches the coast of northeastern Florida or Georgia. Tonight, oh my gosh. I'm just not even going to try to talk. But yeah, Invest 92L out there. If we do get a tornado at this point, it'll be rain wrapped. It'll be in there, southeast of Utica. Okay, at this point though, it's a little less impressive to me. This is more of a chunky supercell, actually. Whoop. Again, we're waiting to see if the National Weather Service in Salt Lake City upgrades this. Yeah, that is insane. They've got to upgrade that. Highly doubt it'll organize into a tropical storm, given that it doesn't have a long open window. Yeah, and that's the thing. I'm a little surprised, and I talked to Mr. Storm about this. He said he was surprised, too, that they've given this such a high confidence of 60% to develop it to a tropical cyclone, considering it's so close to land already. And we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning in effect now for that storm there along the Arizona-Utah state line. Still warned for some lime-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour damaging wind gusts. Not tornado possible tag on the Arizona side of the state line, but it is on the Utah side. So, again, if you're in this area, you need to get indoors and away from windows immediately. This is for the western portion of Greenhaven and for the Bush Head area. Look at that, dude. Little less impressive now, but last scan, that was the most impressive we've seen the hill core at, I think. What does Michigan look like for today? Michigan's got some strong storms out there, but there may be a threat for a severe storm or two across Michigan. It'll depend on more specifically where you're talking about. Like if you get up into northern Michigan, the threat gets much lower. But I think that across far southern sections of Michigan, probably down here would be the greatest chance for a severe thunderstorm. But outside of that, I mean, it's just going to be hot and muggy. So, alrighty. Yeah, at this point, this is a much less impressive cell to me in terms of a tornado threat. I think it's gone. Detroit area, yeah, the Detroit area is going to have the chance for some thunderstorms as we go later into this evening and into tonight. We've already got some thunder showers in this area, but those aren't really going to do too much. But yeah. I think we're going to end off the live stream here. I want to thank you all for tuning in. We've been live for over an hour now covering severe weather. We will possibly be back later if conditions warrant. Remember, I will not be able to go live tomorrow, and I also will not be able to go live after a certain time frame this evening. So, sorry about that, but yeah, hope you all did enjoy. Again, this is the main area we're watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Stay safe.